I really hate to admit it, but we actually spray painted the airbox. We tried to dye this thing with plastic dye and it just didn't turn out too well, so I actually put a light coat of spray paint on there. Now before we actually throw it on the bike, we have to rivet this thing back together, because it will actually come apart right now. I did get this rivet gun from Harbor Freight for like $8, so we're actually just going to go ahead and rivet this airbox together. It's literally as simple as taking the rivet and putting it in the hole. And then we're going to take this rivet gun with the right size tip in it. There's actually 4 different sizes. We're going to simply just put the tool on top of the rivet and squeeze. Literally just like that. Simple as that. Now if you take a look in there, it's riveted and our airbox is actually held together right there. Now we can actually just go ahead and do it for like the 4 other holes. There's actually like this upper mud flap thing that actually has to get riveted on, so let's do that too. There we go, that looks pretty freaking nice. Now for the last 2 holes, we actually have to use these fatter rivets because I did have to actually melt the rivet out of there. Problem solved, we're just going to put a bigger rivet in there. If you're doing this yourself, you have to actually swap it out with the right tip. Now we could just go ahead and do the last 2 rivets. I thought this was going to work fine. Damn. I don't think that this rivet is long enough to reach all the way through. So we're actually just going to shave this tab down just a tiny bit. That way we have clearance. I ended up doing it off camera and it's in there now. I'm not sure how well that's in there. And there is a slight little crack right there. So we might have messed up. I might just seal it from the inside with gasket maker though. 1 more rivet and this thing's good to go. So let's put that thing in now. And there we go. That one didn't hold either. I could not find a rivet big enough, so this is my best way of fixing it. I just slapped a nut and a bolt in there. Maybe I'll get bigger rivets eventually, but that looks fine to me for now. Let's put the graphics from Bold on the airbox now, because it'll make this airbox look a lot better. And here we go. I actually finished wrapping our airbox. We actually have the graphic on there now, and it looks pretty good. Honestly, this side just looks insane because of that hardware. I should have just did that across the whole airbox. Now we could finally install our intake boot and our air filter, and we could throw it on the bike. I really hate to admit this, but I spray painted the